The content you're about to enjoy comes from the archives of The Best You. We're devoted to the very best in personal development, with a magazine and resources dedicated to inspiring and changing people's lives. At The Best You, we work with the world's leading writers and trainers on the evolution of the self, and people whose journeys have been affected by their work and words. For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co. Hey guys, welcome. Thank you so much. Welcome back. And one of the highlights of the event this week is for me personally, and obviously for all of us, for everyone attending, for all the other speakers that are part of this, is to be joined by an absolute legend, a man that doesn't seem to age with years, who looks better every time, and obviously has phenomenal knowledge. I've had the pleasure of reading, pretty much all these books since he started right from the beginning, and it's just a pleasure and honor. So my next guest is Jack Canfield. He's known as the America's #1 success coach. His life purpose is to inspire and empower people to live their highest vision in a context of love and joy. The author and co-author of more than 200 books, such as the best-selling Chicken Soup for the Soul series and the Success Principles. So he's going to be talking here today about a new breakthrough on how to create a better health, emotional freedom, and financial abundance. So, as I said, it's an absolute honor to bring to the stage, to the Best You EXPO virtual stage, Mr. Jack Canfield.
Hey, Bernardo. Glad to join you, my friend.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you so much. You look amazing. Congratulations, and great to have you here.
Thank you. I'm 75 years young. I'll be 76 in August, but not a party. We're all sheltering at home, but nevertheless, it's all good. So what I'm going to be sharing with today is what you just said, but if you can bring up my slides, I'm going to go through.
Absolutely. I'll leave the floor with you. Jack, thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you, Bernardo. Appreciate it. So basically, just so you know, this slideshow is actually being controlled by the people at the event. So I'm going to be saying next slide to get to the next slide every time. Not something I normally do, but we'll live with that. And so I'm going to be teaching you how to achieve better health and wellness, emotional freedom, and financial abundance, and potentially financial freedom with something called essential oils. If you can go to the next slide. And so what happens is that most people... There you go. Most people know me as the author of books, The Secret. I run seminars around the world. I've taught seminars in 50 countries for millions of people. And the reality is that that's who I was. And I was running live seminars. And then what happened, if you can go to the next slide. What I want to do actually is share with you how to improve your health, strengthen your immune system, improve your emotional well-being, reduce stress, reduce pain, increase your levels of peace and joy, and realize your full potential, literally your full potential to get increased inner peace, reduce pain, have more joy, realize your potential in terms of success, and also understand today the power of essential oils, which is something I really knew nothing about a year ago, which has literally transformed my life, transformed the life of my company, transformed the lives of my family, and the lives of my students all around the world, which is really a tremendous claim to make, but it's actually happening. So I'm going to share that with you. And also, at the end of this, I'm going to share with you an income opportunity for you to get involved with this yourself, to share this with other people. You know, one of the things that Bernardo talked about right before we became live, I was watching the videos that were there during the break, I guess, is about the importance of sharing with others, empowering others, making a difference in the lives of others. This is not just about ourselves, but about everybody. So basically, that's what I'm going to be doing with you today. And I would just share this with you, that for me, I knew nothing about this. And it's radically shifted everything in my life. My level of happiness, the quality of my intimacy with my wife. It's improved my sex life. It's improved my attitude in general in life. It's allowed me to release a lot of things that were buried subconsciously that I didn't even know I had going on in my life. And I'll talk a little bit about that later. It's made an impact on my pets. I mean, it's really bizarro that this could have gone that long without understanding the power of these. So we'll jump right into it. So if we can go to the next slide. There we go. So what happened for me when the COVID-19 hit, I was like 75 years old and as healthy as I am. And people say my biological age is about 20 years younger than it is, my actual age. And what happened was I said, I want to get my immune system really strong. And so I started looking around at all the things that could help me do that. Go to the next slide, please. And what happened was there was a workshop that I had run in Santa Barbara where I live last October, and it was a very high-level advanced retreat for about 24 people, and we spent 4.5 days in a very powerful mastermind and learning experience. And one of the people there was this woman named Catherine Tristane, who you see on the right. She used to be a CNN reporter, used to cover the White House around the world and so forth. And if you go to the next slide, please. So what happened is that as I was doing this workshop, every time I was about to do an exercise, Catherine would say, oh, by the way, there's an oil for that. And I would, you should write a book called There's an Oil for That. And so what happened is that I literally stopped. I said, okay, what are you talking about? Because I'm always interested in learning new things. I learned NLP. I learned EFT tapping. I learned the Sedona method. I learned all these different things I could learn to make people's success faster and easier with less struggle. So I said, hey, I'm game. What is this? She said, just take this oil, rub it, pour it on your hand, rub it around 3 times clockwise, and then inhale it. You can put it on your wrist, etc. Now, what I discovered was that these essential oils very quickly, when you breathe them, go into the brain, go immediately into the amygdala, which is where fear lives, which is stopping a lot of people in the world right now. There's a lot of fear. And also goes into the hippocampus where memories live. So within 20 seconds, an essential oil can actually achieve an impact on the brain, which then affects the whole body. And if you rub it on your body, within 20 minutes, it gets to every cell in your body. And we'll look at the science of that in just a minute. But your olfactory system is very, very powerful. So we were about to do an exercise on life purpose. You've all heard life purpose exercises before. And, if you understand your life purpose, you don't get to the top of the ladder and realize your ladder was leaning against the wrong wall because you were pursuing the wrong thing. And so she said, there's this thing called highest potential. So we rubbed it on our hands, we inhaled it, and then we did a life purpose exercise that I always do. Everybody went deeper and went faster and had much more insight into their life purpose in a really profound way, a very spiritual way, you might say. And so then we were about to do a exercise around envisioning what you want in life. And she said, there's 2 oils for that. One's called Awaken. So you awaken to your potential, and also Envision, which helps you vision your future. And without a vision, the people perish. You've heard things like that. So we all rubbed that, smelled it. And sure enough, everybody's vision was clearer. There was less confusion. Nobody said I didn't get anything, like often happens when I do seminars. So now I'm getting very intrigued. And then there was a woman who had to stand up and give a talk and talk about her life and get feedback from the group, present her challenge, etc. And she was really scared to do it. And so there's this oil called Believe. Now, these are all blends of different oils. And so Believe is an oil, when you put it on your body or you smell it, you actually start believing anything's possible. And I know that sounds weird and woo-woo and strange, but it actually works. Gary Young, who was a naturopathic doctor who developed all these starting back in 1993, did research all over the world with biochemists, with shamans, with spiritual teachers, with people that have been working with herbs and plant medicine and plant essences and botanicals, literally for years, and has discovered that every oil, when it interacts with your body, creates a certain frequency. And those frequencies correspond with experiencing joy, experiencing self-confidence, experiencing courage, and so forth, all the things that hold us back. So anyway, this woman rubs belief on it, and all of a sudden she believes she can do it. She was afraid to talk. We do Valor. She believed she could get up there, because Valor is liquid courage. Valor is made up of a combination of oils that were used by the Roman soldiers, including Roman chamomile, back when the Roman Empire. We've all heard of the Roman Empire. We had to study the Roman Empire. Why? Because they conquered most of Europe and Asia. Why? Because they were fearless. And one of the things they did, they realized back then that if they rubbed oils that were infused with these plant essences on them, it would expand their courage, and they could go into battle courageously. And then we had one client in the training who was having trouble sleeping at night, said, I just can't stop thinking about all this stuff. She said, let's try peace and calming or stress away, or a blend of botanicals, essential oils, which I'll explain what they really are in a minute. And what happens is their mind slowed down. They calmed down. They were able to sleep. Another person was having trouble sleeping. She said, try Roman chamomile. Person slept like a baby. And I have at least can tell you 300 people that I've introduced these oils to who are now sleeping through the night for the first time, not waking up, falling asleep easily, etc. So they have tremendous impact. So if we can go to the next slide, please. So this is the company that she was representing called Young Living Oils, and she got me to sign up and get a starter pack of all 12 essential oils and start diffusing them when I got home. And to be quite frank with you, I got home, it was in November, it was now like moving into Thanksgiving, Christmas. I kind of forgot about it. And we can go to the next slide, please. And so what happens is that when the COVID hit and I started remembering about these essential oils, I remember one she talked about called Thieves. And Thieves, as you'll look down here, says a Weber State University study showed a 99.6 reduction in airborne viruses and bacteria when diffusing Thieves. Now, that got my attention. And why is this named Thieves? Turns out when there was this great pandemic back in the 1300s, 1500s, one of those two, that killed literally a third of the world's population, there were a certain group of people who were grave diggers, who were digging up dead bodies to look for coins, that they might have put in their pocket to get them to the next level, in heaven, gold, silver, whatever, gold teeth, whatever they could find. They weren't getting sick. And the King of France heard about this, and so he asked them to come to the court. He said, I will make your sentences much lighter if you can tell me why you guys aren't dying when everyone else is dying, and you're exposing yourself to this virus in a way that, is kind of crazy. And they said, well, they were spice traders from the Eastern Europe. And basically, they would put these oils that contain clove, lemon, cinnamon bark, eucalyptus radiata, and rosemary on their skin and inhaling it, and they never got sick. And so this is why this blend is called Thieves. It's the same basic botanicals that they were using to avoid this. Next slide, please. So what happens is I said, wow, I'm going to definitely start putting that. Now, a diffuser, and I'll show you a picture of a couple in a minute. A diffuser is something where you pour water in it, you pour about 10 drops of an essential oil, you put the top back on, and then you turn on the button, and it vibrates at 1,000,000 times per second. I literally can't even conceive of how anything can vibrate 1,000,000 times a second, but it does. And so what happens, it sends out this mist into the room that contains these essential oils, and you're inhaling them, they're getting on your skin and so forth, and they're having an impact. But they also had a product called Inner Defense, which has the same basic botanicals in them, these essential oils, and you can ingest that. And I take one of those every day as well. So I feel very strong about my immune system. Next slide, please. And so basically what happened was I got a starter kit which has 12 essential oils in it. These are oils that are everyday oils you can use for a million different things, like lavender, helps you sleep at night. I rub it on my wife's feet at night. We know that at the bottom of the feet, you've probably heard about, foot massage, foot reflexology. All the meridians in the body end up in the feet at the bottom of the foot. So when you massage any kind of oil into the foot, within 20 minutes, it gets through the entire body, going up these energy meridians in terms of its frequency, but also biochemically, it gets into the blood system. And within 20 minutes, there's about 4,000 molecules of this essential oil on every cell in your body, either in or on every cell, which is ridiculous when you think about it. So basically, I massaged it on my wife's feet. She does it on mine. We sleep like babies. We don't wake up in the middle of the night anymore. I just discovered the other day, because we live where there's a lot of gnats at night, that if you put them on bug bites, the itching goes away. So there's just a lot of everyday uses for these core essential oils that you can get. You also see something on the right called Ningxia. I'm going to talk about that. It's a wolfberry or goji berry drink from China. On the left, you'll see Thieves, which is also antibacterial, antiviral, antitumoral, and it's also a cleaning product that can replace all of your toxic cleaning products, because we are ingesting as many as 100 to 200 toxic chemicals a day in the average home. And we spend on average 21 hours a day inside. And now with the lockdown, most of us were spending it inside our own home, where even our dry cleaning, our rugs, our carpeting, our furniture, the cleaning fluid, the cleaning liquids we use, the soap you put in your laundry, your dishwashing machine, all that stuff are impacting us. And a recent study showed that the average American has 200 toxic chemicals in their body, including newborn infants, because they're getting the blood from their mother as they're in the womb. So this is sad. And our animals, dogs, I'm a big dog lover, and my wife works with the dog rescue place here in Santa Barbara. Dogs, the same problem with dogs. Dogs are now dying 2 to 4 years earlier, according to a friend of mine who's a veterinarian, Dr. Judy Morgan. Some of it because of what's in their diet, but a lot of it because of the toxic chemicals that are in the flea collars, that are in the cleaning fluids. You put them on the floor. Your cat walks on the floor, gets these cleaning fluids, liquids, Lysol and things like that on its paw, and then it licks it. The same thing with your dogs. And so the cat lies on the floor, the dog lies on the floor. The dog or the cat eats things that drop on the floor, and they're licking up all these toxins. So our animals are at risk as well. So all of these things, this thing in the middle you see is a diffuser, the white thing standing up there. And that's basically one of the things that allows us to get into the air, as well as you can, rub them on your skin and ingest them. Next slide, please. So what happens is one of these oils called Valor, which I talked about, liquid courage. I just want to tell you a quick story. Alice Rifovine, who you see on the right, she's my sales director. And when COVID-19 hit, one of the challenges that we had was we had about $800,000 in deposits for live trainings. And all of a sudden, Governor Newsom in California shuts down every venue. You can't meet, with more than 2 or 3 people inside anywhere. And we're out of business in terms of live seminars. Now, fortunately, we had some pre-recorded online trainings we were doing. But in order to recover this $800,000 in live deposits, we had to go and convince all these people, hundreds and hundreds of people, I think about 800 people, to transfer from these live trainings we had scheduled to online virtually delivered live trainings. And my team was freaked out, scared. And by then I had got them into these essential oils as well. And Alice said, let's all rub Valor on our hands. My entire sales team, they call everyone up. And they probably put that on every couple hours. And she said, it got me through the fear of having to have these people, if they had all asked for their money back, we would have basically been in a lot of trouble, because we did not have the $800,000 in the bank to cover that. Because when you run a training company, you put deposits down on hotels, food and beverage deposits, staff airfare, et cetera, to go and man the events and so forth. So she and her team had to deliver. And Valor was one of the things that got her through that and allowed us to pivot very successfully. People keep talking about the new normal. I'm not talking about the new better, because for us, while we were doing live trainings, we wouldn't have people coming from 17 different countries for a 2-day training or even a 5-day training. Now people can come online. We do a course every 2 weeks for 2 hours, plus expert calls in between and office hours and coaching and all that. And we have people from many, many countries who never would have enrolled coming to our seminars now. So it's actually doing better. But there was a lot of pivoting that had to happen to make that happen. Next slide, please. So what happens is, Maya Angelou, who was the poet laureate of the United States under Barack Obama, said one isn't necessarily born with courage, but one is born with potential. And without courage, we cannot practice any other virtue with consistency. We can't be kind, can't be true, can't be merciful, generous, or honest. And so it's true. We have to have courage. And believe it or not, an oil can do that. It builds self-confidence, it builds self-esteem, it builds courage. Next slide. And so this is a diffuser you see in the background, one of the many diffusers that are out there in the world. I used to get allergies every spring. I mean, my eyes would run, my eyes would itch, I would sneeze, and I was eating a good diet and all the stuff you're supposed to do, but I was still having this inflammation response, if you will. And someone said, just put 5 drops of lavender, 4 drops of lemon, and 3 drops of peppermint in your diffuser. Or if you want, you can put that inside a gel cap. And take like a vitamin C capsule, open it up, pour out the vitamin C, put the essential oils in it, and you can swallow it, which I also did. Within 2 or 3 hours, my allergy reactions were gone. They never came back the entire spring. I would often have that for a month to 6 weeks. So again, amazingly powerful. Next slide, please.
For complimentary resources from my book, my complimentary e-course, The Power of the Question, or recommended reads, go to www.thequestion/resources. For more information on my coaching or mentoring, go to www.bernardo-moya.com.
So I read a book as I got into this. I started reading a book called The Essential Oil Truth by Jen O'Sullivan. Next slide, please. And what I discovered really blew me away. First of all, what are essential oils? They're the life force of a plant. They're like the blood in your body. If you have no blood in your body, you're basically dead. If you have no essential oils in the plant's dead. And so these oils are distilled through a distillation process, just like if you're making alcohol or something like that. And what they're used to help support and regulate our body systems and the health and wellness of our body, mind, and spirit. And why they're able to do that, you've probably heard that we have cannabinoid receptors in our brain, in our body, and cells in our nervous system all through the body. So when you smoke marijuana or you ingest CBD oil, etc., what happens, or you rub it on your body, what happens is that these cannabinoid, still learning to say that, cannabinoid receptors basically get coated with the CBD or the THC. And what happens is it creates a relaxation response. And the body calms down. You're better able to meditate. Pain disappears. You've heard all this stuff about, CBD and, pain for cancer patients and so on and so forth. Well, those same receptor sites receive plants. Our body grew up eating plants primarily and some animal meats and fish and eggs. And so what happens is the body was designed to cooperate with the plants and their healing powers. And so when you take a pharmaceutical, what happens is they will isolate one aspect of a plant, like valerian for Valium, or they'll do a thing that will inhibit the serotonin uptake in your brain to create mood alteration and so forth. But there's only one little protein they're targeting inside an entire cell, which has many, many proteins. When you ingest or you smell, or you inhale, or you rub on your body an essential oil, you're getting the entire complement of all the aspects of that original plant. And what happens is it has a much more impactful impact. How's that for redundancy? On your body and on your attitudes and your brains and so forth. So it's much, much, much more powerful than a lot of the things that you're now taking for your so-called wellness. The other thing I found out was the body has 100 trillion cells in it. That's a lot of cells. But one drop of essential oil, one drop, the size of a raindrop, has 40 million trillion molecules. So when you inhale it or when you ingest it, it goes into your blood. After 20 minutes, if it's rubbed on your skin, within 20 seconds, if you inhale it, you're getting 400,000 molecules per cell in your body having an impact. And they happen very, very quickly. My stepdaughter, sometimes has challenges with anxiety. And she was over at my house yesterday. And there's an oil called Joy, which we'll talk about in a minute. And it's meant to be rubbed on the heart. It's a combination of several oils, including rose, geranium, and other things. And within just a few minutes, she said, "Mom, I feel better." And they had the best conversation they've had literally in months. Because she can often get very defensive when she's, "You're pushing me," that kind of thing. And so literally these things happen very, very quickly. All right, next slide, please. So just talk about peppermint. Peppermint's one of my favorite oils. Studies have reported in research, reported by the National Institutes of Health, that peppermint essential oil, which is most widely used to prevent fatigue, significantly improves exercise performance and athletic performance. What does that mean? It means you can go longer with greater endurance than you've ever gone before, simply by either inhaling or rubbing on your body or diffusing peppermint oil, because it opens up the bloodstream to allow more oxygen in, which gives you more energy. They also found in a study in Japan that when they diffused peppermint oil, in one classroom was taking tests, and another classroom, equally skilled, bright, across the board, even energy, even IQs and all that, a test in two classrooms, one with no oils, the other with oils. What happened was the kids getting the oils performed much, much better on the test. They weren't aware that this was happening. It was just happening, but the peppermint oil opened up their ability. So literally when your students are studying, when they're about to go take a test, they can actually enhance their performance with peppermint oil. Next slide, please. So here's what diffusers look like. The one on the left is called an Aria diffuser. The one in the middle is a lantern. The other one's a desert mist. They even make them for kids' rooms. Helps kids sleep better at night. Maybe helps them dealing with other kinds of challenges they're having with their wellness. And so we make it a lot more fun. But basically, it's just diffusing this mist into the air, which they're breathing, and they're really simple to use. So if you can go to the next slide, please. And so This was a breakthrough for me that really got me totally invested in the essential oils as a trainer, as a human potential facilitator. And there's a guy named Dr. Ben Perkis, and he developed something called the aroma freedom technique. He started using these oils in his psychological practice. And what he noticed was when he used certain oils, like one of them was called Valor, we've talked about, makes people feel braver to confront their issues, to look at the feelings that might come up, to look at what they needed to change in terms of their behavior and their belief systems. And then he could use something like Release, which is, if you put Release on your liver, we store a lot of anger in our liver. A lot of people who have addiction issues have issues with their liver, not just because they're ingesting toxins like alcohol, and drugs and things like that, but also because they have a lot of stored anger. You know, we see people on TV just screaming at each other now about wearing masks or not and so forth. There's so much anger out there. And so we need to release that anger to raise our vibration. If you know about the law of attraction, the higher your vibration, the more you're living in love, joy, appreciation, gratitude, forgiveness, things like that, then the more likely you are to attract the things at that higher vibration that you want in your life. The lower vibration you are, you're attracting those things like other angry people, negative experiences, getting abused, all that kind of stuff. So we did a technique with him where he had us look at what is something you want to manifest in your life. Close your eyes. Notice what self-talk comes up. And then he said, I want you to rub this certain oil on your hands. And it took us back into our childhood. And then we all had memories of events that were leading to this limiting belief that was stopping us, this inner dialogue that was stopping us from being successful. And I mean, it was miraculous. I mean, I was a therapist many years ago. I teach trainings. I take people back into their childhood, help them release beliefs, but nothing was as fast and powerful as this. Literally, I went back to a memory where I was 16, I think, and my dad and I were having a big argument about something. I wanted to use the car, and I was wanting to be independent and grown up. And anyway, it escalated, and he just lost his temper, and he took a swing at me. And I had been studying judo in high school, and I flipped him. Not something you want to do to your dad. And my mom said, run, I'll tell you when it's safe to come home. So I literally ran out of the house and went to a playground a couple blocks away. And several hours later, my younger brother came and got me, and I came back. But it was very tense in that house for weeks. But in this imagery that just emerged, spontaneously, all of a sudden, I'm having this imagination, this image of my dad hugging me, telling me he's sorry, telling me he realizes he needed to acknowledge that I was growing up and becoming a man. He needed to support me in my independence. And it was very healing, unbelievable. And who knew at 75, I would still have this subconscious issue going on about something that I wanted to manifest, that I had self-talk about, that came up. And I teach this stuff. And if you go to the next slide, please. And so my wife, who also did this, Inga, my wife, there were about 9 of us on the call. He was showing us how it worked. And she had a major breakthrough where her mother had told her father had committed suicide when she was about 8 years old, and just told her, the refrigerator broke or the car broke down. And there was no emotion. There was no comforting her. There was no grieving process. And she got the insurance money, went to Davos, Switzerland, took all the kids skiing, had affairs, left them on their own. And here she was, when I first married her about 23 years ago, what happened was that she woke up in the middle of the night one night screaming, Daddy, don't do it. And I was not even aware her father had committed suicide. She'd never talked about it, and which is weird when you think about it. And but all of a sudden it started coming up because she was in this safe space now called B in our relationship. But she still had this issue come up about her mother telling her and never really being there for her that I hadn't heard. And she had a similar breakthrough with that. And now, her emotions are just much more freely available to her, even than they were before. And she's always been pretty spontaneous and out there with that. Next slide, please. So we started integrating that into our work. Now, as you can see on this slide, if you look real carefully, you'll see some boxes. And number 57, that's at the bottom. That's 57 megahertz. That's how fast your body is vibrating. When it's vibrating at that frequency, which is a low frequency, which is when you're ill, flu can invade your body. Now, why would that be important now with COVID-19 floating around? We don't want flu to invade our body, wherever it comes from. So that's not a healthy place to be. When you're thinking negative thoughts, you see the vibration is 56 to 50 megahertz, and that's not also very good, right? It's because if you look at where your body is naturally healthy, it's right above that, above the white box. It says 68 to 62. That's a normal, healthy body. When you're thinking positive thoughts, which this whole Best You conference is focused around, so what Bernardo teaches and all the teachers teach, is you're now up to 72 to 78 megahertz. That's really a valuable place to be, which is why you want to use affirmations, use positive self-talk, read positive uplifting books like Chicken Soup for the Soul, watch TED Talks and TEDx Talks, attend symposiums and attend summits like this on a regular basis, and surround yourself with positive people. Now look at lavender, which is one of the most commonly used oils. 118 is the frequency. Look how much higher that is than your normal body frequency. So it's raising your vibration up. And if we go up to rose, we see the frequency is 320 megahertz. And joy, which is the one I use, I rub joy on my heart every day. I know that sounds crazy. My wife and I do it. And we stay in joy. And there's a lot to be not joyful about right now in terms of confusion, in terms of fears and fears of getting sick, fears of the death of loved ones, fears of losing your income, losing your social media following, whatever it might be. There's a lot out there. And as soon as I put joy on my heart, and I'll do a little inhaling at the same time, I'm joyful as I am right now. And I did that, 7 this morning. So basically it's noon where we are right now. So 5 hours ago. And these vibrations are very, very high. So I just want to give you a sense that the frequencies that occur in your body as a result of these oils are part of what's doing, or along with the biochemical work that also takes place in terms of your cells. Next slide, please. And so I just want to talk about a few of my favorite oils really quickly. Tea tree. I put tea tree. I have these, what I call old man toes, toe fungus. Put tea tree on my big toe. I've been doing that for the last 4.5 months. And my toes, which have been that way for 10 years, trying all kinds of things I bought online, nothing ever worked, are starting to clear up. Lavender, I mentioned for sleep. Peppermint, I put peppermint in my diffuser. Around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I used to have a downturn of energy. And what I would do with that is I would go eat something. Usually a protein bar, what I have in my office was simple, but a lot of calories. And so I was putting on weight. And now I just put peppermint oil in my diffuser, and my hunger goes away immediately. I feel energized, and I've lost 12 pounds since March 1st, 12 pounds. And just not changing my diet. I am on a plant-based diet, just a little bit of fish every couple of weeks. But basically, I'm not as hungry as much. I'm eating smaller portions. Raven is something that opens up the breathing, which is very valuable right now, given if you would ever get the flu or something, your breathing is what's affected our lungs. These are respiratory diseases are going around, opens up the breathing. I have a 2-level property where I live up here, and there's a hill that goes down. I have a barn, the corral below where I have a horse. And what happens is I was coming up that walkway, if you will, the other day, and I was kind of out of breath. And I was a little shocked by that. And, you start to go, oh, God, do I have this? I don't even know it. I don't. But the point was I just took a little bit of Raven, inhaled it, put it in my diffuser, and within a minute or two, that breathlessness went away. Lime. I put lime in, just a little drop of lime in my water in the morning, and I also there's this product called Ningxia, which I'm going to talk about in just a minute, but this is like a couple ounces of Ningxia and a drop of lime and sulfurzyme, which is basically MSM, which is a anti-inflammatory. And then I sip that throughout the day. And I'll talk about why that's important in just a minute. Forgiveness. If we don't forgive people, we're carrying around anger and resentment. And so literally, we just did a whole month's process called the Emotional Reset, where we ended up about 100 people that are doing oils with me, where we basically went through 5 oils put on the body every 10 minutes for an hour at night or in the morning. And then forgiveness. When you put that on, all of a sudden you have memories, or I did, and all the other people did, of people I need to forgive. or people that need to forgive me, whatever. And so I remembered an African-American friend of mine when I was teaching high school, and he was my best friend. And he joined the Black Muslims, and he came to me and he said, just out of the blue, I joined the Black Muslims. I'm not allowed to talk to white people anymore. You're the white devil, and this is it. And he walked away. And I was devastated. It'd be like your wife walking up to you and you had a great relationship, no clues, and just says, I'm out of here. And so that was devastating. And that memory came back, 50 years ago that happened. And I needed to forgive him for that. And I have a good friend named Barbara Marx Hubbard, who's an evolutionary teacher. She just died recently. She was in her late 80s. And she, when she was in her late 70s, I believe, was diagnosed with a terminal illness and sent home to die. And a friend of hers said, you need to go to Hawaii. There's a shaman there. You can see a healer, and he will keep you alive. So she flies to Hawaii, goes into his office, lies down on this massage table, and he says, close your eyes. Tell me who you need to forgive for anything that happened today. How about yesterday? Anyone do anything at all that you were upset by? You need to forgive him. And he did that, took her all the way back into her childhood to where she had no more memories, like when she was 3 years old. 6 hours on the table. At the end of that 6 hours, having done all that forgiveness, she got up, pain-free, symptoms gone, came home. Doctor said, I don't know what happened. That's unbelievable, but you're healed. And so the reality is forgiveness is really, really critical. And boy, do we need forgiveness in our culture, in the world right now. People are so upset with each other. Joy, I talked about. White Angelica is an amazing oil. You rub it, you put it on the top of your head. It actually affects your pineal gland and your brain. If you're into yoga, your crown chakra. And also it creates a protection. You can rub it on your shoulders as well. And it's almost like putting a Gardol shield. Some of you older people remember that. It was a toothpaste commercial way back when. But the idea being, it's like having this protective, we all talk about the protective equipment that the doctors and nurses are wearing in a hospital. It's like putting that around you in terms of emotional energy so that negative emotions don't impact you. Again, it's frequency. Everything's frequency. The thoughts you think are frequency. Everything's vibrating. Every color you see is vibrating a different color. Every sound is a different sound. Every oil has a different frequency. And they're all meant to enhance your body and your emotions and your spirit. So next slide, please. So pets, we discovered that if we took peace and calming, which is something that comes in the starter kit, that if we rub that on our dog, it calms the dog down. Our dog was a rescue dog from a rescue shelter and must have been abused at some point. And anytime we put it in the car, it would start to shake. Anytime we'd take it to the groomer or the groomer would come to our house, the dog would start to shake. Started just rubbing our hands with little peace and calm, rub it on the dog's back, maybe put it a little around his neck, and all of a sudden the dog's calm, no reaction, no shaking. 4th of July, I have 3 staff who have dogs that when the 4th of July firecrackers are going off, the dogs always freak out, bark, become uncontrollable, and they put a little peace and calming on the dog, and the dogs didn't do that this year. And so again, affects your pets as well. Very powerful. Next slide, please. So I want to talk about this Ningxia product. Ningxia is made out of goji berries. It comes from China, also called wolfberries. And you've all heard of free radicals. These are, free radical oxygen roaming around your body, causing havoc, destroying the telomeres at the end of your DNA. They say that they're cancer causing, etc. So when a product has an ORAC, an oxygen radical absorption capacity score, basically, it tells you how powerful it is in eliminating these free radicals. And wolfberries, goji berries, scores 25,300, whereas blueberries, which I'd been putting in my blender drinks in the morning for centuries, it seems like, only 2,400, so 10 times more powerful. And you see kale, spinach, broccoli, all these things we're supposed to eat that help kill off these free radicals. But look at essential oils. Clove, 1,078,700. That's the score for that. Myrrh, 379,800. So essential oils have tremendous ability to help eliminate and destroy free radicals in the body. Now, this Ningxia product, which is way cool. I drink 2 ounces every morning and then put 2 ounces in my bottle that I held up earlier with a little bit of water and a little bit of lime essential oil. And I'll drink that throughout the day. And what happens is one of my staff literally stopped drinking coffee. Did not plan to stop drinking coffee, had no intention to stop drinking coffee, actually enjoyed her coffee. But she was getting so much energy. She was drinking, 2 in the morning and 1 in the middle of the afternoon to get herself through the day. Just after doing a month or 2 of Ningxia, no more coffee. I know people that have started jogging again in their 70s, literally weren't jogging before after doing Ningxia for a couple of months. And so this is something that's another product that comes from Young Living that has a huge impact on your health. So I would encourage you to put that into your daily routine as well. If we can go to the next slide, please. So 1 ounce of Ningxia has the antioxidant power of 4 pounds of carrots or 2 quarts of carrot juice or 8 oranges or 2 pounds of beets, 3 cups of raspberries, etc. So you see just 1 or 2 ounces can have a huge impact in your health and your fitness. And you look there, you'll see there are bottles. There are also these little travel packs that have 2 ounces. You can throw them in your purse or your backpack or your briefcase, take them on the road with you and wherever you'll travel again, and do this wherever you go. Next slide, please. We also have, as I mentioned, toxic products that are killing us. Literally dogs dying earlier, people getting much more cancer, all kinds of things happening today because of all these toxic chemicals we're ingesting. And we have a line of non-toxic cleaning products called Thieves, the same kind of stuff that we talked about in the pills and in the diffusion that we talked about earlier. It kills bacteria, kills viruses. You can spray your countertops. Thieves hand wash is what I use to wash my hands every day before I eat, after I've been out, after I've touched things, etc. We also have a hand sanitizer, and we have a spray that you can spray like you're on the airplane. You want to spray that tray, you can do that. These have changed our life as well. We had one person on from the company talking about Thieves, and he literally had one of his daughters. You can imagine this. Your daughter's like 3 years old. And she crawls into the kitchen, and the cabinet under the sink, the child lock is loose for some reason. And she goes on there and she pulls out a bottle and she takes the cap off. It's a cleaning liquid of some kind, like a floor cleaner, a wall cleaner, a glass cleaner, and she's drinking it. And you come around the corner seeing her do that, and you're freaked out because you know these things are toxic. They cause brain damage, kill you, whatever. So he rushes her to the hospital. They pump her stomach. She survives, but she was really in bad shape for a couple of days, but she survives. And he said, thank God I changed everything over to Thieves. She could drink a whole bottle of what you see on the screen right there now. And she might have a little bit of a tummy ache, but there'd be no toxic reaction for her brain or any organs in her body. Her breath would smell really good, but no toxic effect. And so if you have children, if you're old like I am, et cetera, and you're in this high risk category for COVID and so forth, you want to make sure that you're using non-toxic cleaning supplies. They also have a toothpaste and shampoos, all kind of other things like that. But basically, these products are incredible. In one bottle, as you see of the tallest bottle there, which is Thieves cleaning fluid, called fluid, it's a cleaning liquid. You can dilute that. So one bottle will equal 29 bottles of cleaning, 22 to 29 bottles of cleaning. And the amount of money you save is ridiculous. Plus, you're getting something that's much healthier for you. Next slide, please. So we also have a line of non-toxic cosmetics. You probably have heard this, that anything you put on your skin gets ingested into your skin. That's why you have to be careful about the sunblocks you use and all those kind of things. But women, and some of us men who are doing, TV and so forth, we're putting, cosmetics on our body, foundation and non-glowy things, powders and all that kind of stuff. Women, lipstick. Most over-the-counter lipsticks in the world right now, unless you buy some that are non-toxic, have as many as 41 known carcinogens in them, 41 cancer-causing chemicals. And we wonder why we're so have all these chemicals in our body, and that's one of the reasons why. And the lips and the mouth are very extreme absorption areas in our body. It's why often they'll say, like vitamin B12, just put it on your tongue, let it dissolve, go straight up into the brain. And so the same thing's happening with these toxic cosmetics. So we have a whole line of those as well. They're all also infused with essential oils, which are good for your skin, etc. If you can go next slide, please. And so I want to talk about the business opportunity for a minute. When COVID-19 hit us and we had to lock down, you heard me tell the story about how we had to pivot everyone into our live virtual trainings, and some of our online virtual trainings were already there, but we didn't have a live component. We were pretty freaked out. And I said, okay, we got to figure this out. And we had gone through the experience back in 2008, 2009, where the economy went down, and we got through it okay, but we had a conversation. We don't want to fire anybody. I have 12 full-time staff and a couple of like almost full-time consultants who depend on us for their living. Some of these people are working with me 25 to 30 years. And so I wanted to find a way to have a multiple source of income that could help replace their salary if we did have to cut everyone's salary by 20 or 30% in order to not have to fire anybody. And so again, this Young Living opportunity of a network marketing company came up to us. So I decided I'm going to enroll everyone in my company in Young Living. I'll be at the top, put them all under each other. And this will be our network marketing business that we'll run in our company. And we've only been doing this now for about 4.5 months. And already I'm making many, many, many thousands of dollars a month. My wife's underneath me. She's making many thousands of dollars a month. There are many of our staff people making several $1,000s a month. And so the reality is we very quickly pivoted and added this to what we're doing. And what we began to see was the potential for an amazing home-based business that you can do from home. And a lot of you have friends, many of you have mailing lists, many of you have followers on social media and so forth, and family, et cetera, that you can enroll, not just to make money, but to actually support them in having a much healthier lifestyle and a much more happy life, et cetera. So we can go to the next slide, please.
For more information on collaborating, partnering, sponsoring, supporting, or speaking at any of our events, or finding out more about our legacy clubs, go to www.thebestyou.co. If you're interested in finding out more about the amazing content we have, please go to www.thebestyou.online and get your 14-day free trial now.
So I want to talk about the income opportunity, and I want to share with you some ideas that were shared by Richard Bliss Brooke, who we had come on and talk to our all the people that had signed up under me in the early part of this. And so if you can go to the next slide, please. And he wrote a book called The 4-Year Career. And he talks about how in 4 years you can literally become financially successful and potentially financially independent, such that you could retire. He said most people live the 40-40-40 plan, work at least 40 hours a week for 40 years, retire on 40% of what was never enough in the first place. But with the 4-year career plan, meaning if you build a business that has people that are getting products every month that they want, that are serving them, that's our monthly, we call it wellness box, then you have a sustainable career. You could literally retire, not even do anything after 4 years, and still have some people earning, hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars a year. So we'll talk about that. Next slide, please. So the idea here is build it once and get paid forever. Next slide, please. So the first thing is you can build it part-time, anytime, as little as 30 minutes a day. Doesn't take a lot of energy to begin with. You do have to work. The more time and energy you put into it, the more quickly you can build, the bigger you can build. But you can build this part-time. Next slide, please. Here's a woman named Kimmy Brooke, who was a struggling single mom, and she built a team of 20,000 people on her lunch break. When she was working in a corporate job, she just started calling friends and family, explaining the opportunity to them, both in terms of the oils and what they could do for them, and also the business opportunity. A lot of stay-at-home moms, et cetera. And now a lot of us are just stay-at-home, period. And she built this organization on her lunch break. Next slide, please. And you can build it from anywhere, from any city, from any virtual office. All you need is a phone, a tablet, or a laptop. Doesn't matter where you are. Everything's online. You don't have to inventory anything. You don't have to host live events. You could, but you don't have to. Next slide, please. You can launch a successful business for just a few $100s. Literally, for $300 or $400, you can be a business owner. If you wanted to buy most franchises, you're looking at $50,000 to be in business for yourself. McDonald's would cost you $1 million investment to build a McDonald's franchise. So for literally a few $100s, you can be in business with your own business. Next slide, please. And if you're in business by yourself, but not by yourself, meaning Young Living does all the heavy lifting. They've developed the products, the legal groundwork. They handle customer service, all the data processing, the banking. You get a commission, gets deposited into your bank account, sales training, marketing, branding, even social media. You never have to collect money. It goes straight into the computer. It's really a no-brainer. Next slide, please. And you get mentored by millionaires, people above you that come before you, like myself, that have made it work, and you're on their team. And it's in the best interest for you to succeed because you are their future. We only succeed when you succeed. Next slide, please. And you can learn it while you earn it. You can create cash flow your first month. Next slide. And this is a woman named Trina Sett. When Trina Sett got involved with this, she was running a business that required people to be able to move around. And when the lockdown happened, she couldn't do it anymore. And so all of a sudden, she's got no money. I mean, literally no money. And then her roommate committed suicide, a man who was renting a room from her apartment. And then her mother got sick with cancer. All the support systems where she could have turned for support and money had dried up. And she was on food stamps. Literally had to apply for food stamps. And within 2 months, she got to where she was a silver leader and 3 months a gold leader. And she was off food stamps in that first month. There's a whole bonusing system in that first month that she was able to take advantage of and literally create enough money to forgo the food stamps, pay her rent, pay her utility bills, her computer online bills, all those kind of things, food and everything. So you can literally learn it while you're earning it. So you can be very successful very quickly if you work. Next slide, please. So also we have a lot of trips as you earn different incentives. People go to Bali, they've been to Ecuador. Company pays for these trips. They're really amazing. You have first class, treatment everywhere you go, meals, speakers, trainers, lots of fun. The next slide, please. And you get to visit some of the farms where we grow all these oils. Next slide, please. There's one in Utah. Here's one in France and Provence, the lavender farms, as far as you can see. It takes about 40 pounds of lavender to make just a little bit of lavender oil. That's why you're getting such powerful essence of this. Next slide, please. So basically, these are all the different countries we're in. We're in about over 100 countries. And also, if we're not in a country you're in, you can also order products from the U.S. and have them shipped to you. Next slide, please. And I just want to talk about the income for 1 minute, and then we're going to do something. So next slide, please. And so you can see that silver is something I achieved in just a couple of months. Normally it takes about 38 months to get there. It doesn't have to if you're mentored correctly. And the average income is about $15,000 a year. The highest income at that level is about $281,000 a year. Go to the next slide, please. And you can go to gold, which I went to very quickly. And then you're averaging about $47,000 a year. Go to the next slide, please. And in just 4.5 months, I went to platinum, averaging about $117,000 a year. You can be making as much as $992,000. You look down at the bottom, there are people at Royal Crown Diamond. It normally takes several years to get there, but you can get there that fast, a couple of years. Some people do that faster. You can be making average $1.5 million a year. So next slide, please. It's just a matter of enrolling a few people who enroll others. I've only enrolled 10 people in this company. I have 1,300 people now, 1,300 people in my organization in just 4.5 months. Next slide, please. So we have weekly education calls where we teach you about all kinds of stuff so you don't have to learn it yourself. And there's just so much education available to you, not only in terms of how to use the oils, but also in terms of how to enroll people, how to do the business side of this, how to use the back office, etc. I'm going to ask you to go ahead to slide 61 right now, if you would. Slide 61. Okay, so basically, what I want you to do, if you'd like to be a user of these oils or you'd like to be a serious business builder, I'm going to show you, I'm going to actually enroll you online right now in these 9 minutes that we have left. So all you have to do is pull out your cell phone or a notebook or open another window in your browser and simply go to www.youngliving.com. So I'll give you a second to do that. Youngliving.com. Next slide, please. And what we're going to do is we're going to get you the 3 basic things you need to do if you're going to do this in terms of really have it be helping you in terms of your health, or also allowing you to become a business builder to understand and use the 3 major groups of products that will be the ones you'll be enrolling people in for their own health and wellness and their own emotional well-being. So go to the next slide, please. So you're probably going to land on a page like this. You'll see Young Living at the top. And if you do get to this page, just scroll over to where you see on the left where it says United States English, and you'll want to click on that slide. So next slide, please. Or you may end up on a page that looks like this, and you just want to, in the upper right-hand corner where it says click Become a Member, you want to click on Become a Member. And next slide, please. You may end up with a page that looks like this too. Again, click on a member. Make sure it says English. It's got a little American flag up there. And this is for people who live in America. You're an American. You live in the United States. People that are from other countries. If you're living in Europe and Africa and South America, Asia, whatever, we're going to have a opportunity for you to enroll tonight. I'm going to give you the URL to go to, or you can just click on that and we'll enroll you, because every country has a different, just a little bit of a different enrollment process because of different rules about different products in different countries. So we will take you through that. But if you're an American right now and you would like to enroll, just keep on clicking on these things. So click on that. So go to the next page, please. And we're going to show you how very quickly, for a very small investment, you can become a business builder with us. And I'm going to help you build your business. I'm going to educate you. We're going to show you how to use the products when you get them. And we're going to let you be positioned very much up at the top of my organization so that you can build a very significant business that will help you achieve a significant income. So where it says click started, click get started. And then we want you to scroll down to the top, to the bottom of the page. So go ahead. Next slide, please. And you're going to end up with this. And you'll see there it says choose your starter kit. And they've already checked for you the premium starter kit. And they've checked the Desert Mist Diffuser, which is a really good diffuser. So it just comes as part of the kit. And so it's already clicked for you. All you have to do is just scroll down to step 2. Next slide, please. And you'll see where it says Essential Rewards Enrollment. What you want to do is click Yes. And next slide, please. And that's going to show you another button to click Yes. This is going to get you enrolled with a premium starter kit and also have you enrolled in the Essential Rewards program, which allows you to get commissions and to be paid for enrolling other people. And it also sets you up for your monthly order, which you can change any month as you want, but we'll start with one for now just to get you enrolled. So click yes to that. And next slide, please. And then you're going to scroll down to see all of step 3. So next slide, please. And what we want you to do here, it says choose your Essential Rewards Kit. You want to go to the far right and hit Ningxia red. You'll see it right there. Just click that button. And this is going to get you the Ningxia Essential Rewards. Ningxia, which we talk about, which is such a huge health benefit. So click that. And then next slide, please. And then at the bottom of that, it's going to say add more products. So I want you to do that. Click add more products. And that's going to take you to the next slide. And what you want to do here, we're just going to get you the rest of your starter pick here, is click up in the corner on the upper left-hand side where it says enter product number. Type in 4710 into the search bar. And that's the Ningxia combo pack. So you're going to get Ningxia as your essential rewards for next month. And also you're going to get it so you can start now. And then click the little search button on the right, that little magnifying glass. And next slide, please. And that'll get you the Ningxia Red Combo Pack, which we talked about earlier. Next slide, please. And on the right, you'll see what's going to come up on your screen then after you've printed that out, or you've hit that little button, is you're going to see the Ningxia Red Combo Pack appear. And on the right, there's a little place to click Add Product. I want you to click on the Add Product button. And that'll add it to your cart. And then Next slide, please. And that's going to take you back to another screen where you can order one more, and you're just going to type in 20421, and that's the Thieves home cleaning kit that we talked about that's going to allow you to have these non-toxic cleaning products in your house. So 20421, and then click on the search. And next slide, please. And now you're going to also, where it says add product, you're going to add product. Click on that. And then scroll down. And as you scroll down, next slide, please. You're going to see your order, like your cart, and you'll notice that you're going to get a bunch of freebies. And these are promos. And this month, you're going to get 6 essential oils that are food grade. You can actually put them in your food. You can eat them, put them in water, etc. You're going to get thyme, coriander, parsley, black pepper, and mountain savory and orange, and you'll get a little directions about how to use all that. And you're going to get a charcuterie board, a little slicing board, like a cheese cutting board. Okay, so you'll see that dollars are also down there. That's what your purchases added up to. You're going to get about $1,039 worth of products for just $397. So that starts your business or gives you what you need if you want to be a serious user of these oils. So then click checkout. Next slide, please. And that'll bring you back to page 1 at the top, which is kind of silly, but that's the way it does. So you're going to scroll down to the bottom of that page 1 again. Next slide, please. And you'll see there, we'll say, after scrolling all the way down to the bottom, click next because you've completed your ER stuff. So click next. Next slide, please. And you just fill in your personal information, your name, your address. You want to click that I want to receive communications because you get newsletters you want to read that are helpful. And then when you finish that, and I'm going a little fast now because we've got to bring this to a close, but you'll be able to complete this on your own because it's pretty self-explanatory from this point on. But I do want to say a couple more things before we end. Just next slide, please. When you choose your username, I recommend you just use your email address, easy to remember. Also, you'll need to put in a PIN number, a 4-digit PIN number. I recommend that's the last 4 digits of your phone number, either your cell phone or your home phone. Easy to remember. And also your password needs to be 8 digits long, and it needs to have upper, lower case, and a number in it. And then choose your membership status. I would just say, membership without social security card. You can always go in after you're enrolled and change that. If you want to be an LLC, you got, tax deduction benefits from all that. So next slide, please. Choose I was referred to. This is the most important part today. I was referred to Young Living by a Young Living member. Click slide, please. Next slide. And what you're going to do there, Bernardo Moya, who's putting on this conference, is working with me to bring these oils to you and to all of your friends and family and to the world. And you have to put in his member number in both the enroller and in the sponsor category. And these numbers, you might want to write these down if we're going a little too fast for you, and you can do it later. It's 239-64594. 239-64594. 94. So make sure you write that down, and it's critical you put those in the box. Next slide, please. And then you just click continue, and next slide, please. And then you'll just enter your credit card information. There'll be a little place to say activate account, then you'll check out. You're going to get an email that will include your Young Living member, your new membership number. Make sure you write that down. As long as you're in your password, whatever you put down, keep it handy. And when you're checking out and it says, what shipping method would you prefer? Pick FedEx Ground. It's only $2 more than U.S. Postal Service. But the point is the U.S. Postal Service is very, very slow now, and you're going to get that much faster. Just one more slide. Next slide, please. So if you are living outside the United States, if you want to be a business builder or just a consumer, or if you got lost during this process, you're just interested in becoming a consumer or to sign up as an enroller, we're going to be doing a Zoom call tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 6 o'clock Pacific Time, and also tomorrow night. That's August 1st and 2nd, 6 p.m. Pacific Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can access that by just going to jackcanfield.com/bestyou. That's jackcanfield.com/bestyou. I'm going to give you a second to write that down. And you probably won't need that Zoom ID, but if you want to write that down, this URL will take you right there. And we will be there. Lots of people to help you enroll. Whatever country you're from, doesn't really matter. We're going to make sure that you get enrolled and you get the oils you need, and that you can do this for yourself, your family, your friends, and as a business. Now more than ever, we need home-based businesses and multiple sources of income. So I thank you very much. Next slide. I think it just says thank you for being here. And I do. I thank you very much. And I hope this has been valuable for you. I promise you this will change your life if you choose to do it. Remember, the only thing that ever changes your life are the decisions you make and the actions you take. You've been given an opportunity now to make a decision, to take the action that can radically transform your life. So thank you very much. And I'll turn it back over to you, Bernardo. I think you're muted, Bernardo. I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry, Jack. I want to thank you so much. It's so much knowledge, Jack. So much knowledge, so much science you've shared there, and so much interesting information. And I've obviously been using the products; they are great. I believe very much in them. And but thank you so much. Because obviously, coming from someone like you, recommending these things, obviously has the value that it has, and that's why.
Well, it definitely is always an option when you're known for one thing to put a new thing you're doing out there and wonder why everyone's doing it. But this has literally changed my life, and I just want to share it with everyone.
Well, and I wouldn't, why would you share if you didn't believe in it? You don't need it. You've got the kudos. So thank you so much, Jack. Thank you for sharing it. And for those of you that are watching, we're going to be putting this recording out there tomorrow again, so you can watch a replay just in case. Thank you, Jack. Thank you very much.
All right. I will check out. Bye-bye.
For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co.